Last time on Close Call Sports.
And now Jim Hickey's been ejected.
Washington's pitching coach is ejected after arguing two Scherzer violations on Weems. The first was a warning, the second was an automatic ball.
And that was warned 2 pitches prior. I don't want to say Brandon Miller is doing something right. He's doing his job.
Miller did the job last night. Today it's Derek Thomas behind the plate. We go to the top of the 6th inning with Keibert Ruiz on first base.
Dominic Smith hits this fair into the corner and trouble.
They're going to send Keibert all the way from first, and
he's safe.
They're going to call him out.
No way.
For going out of the baseline.
Are we there? Seriously?
As Dave Martinez comes out to argue and Vargas gets Ruiz out of there. Great play by Vargas to do that, by the way. Let's take a look.
Oh, this is awful. Derek Thomas, let's figure this thing out, please.
That's what I'm here for. Let's look at the play again.
Caballero's throw to the plate is not in time. He's out. He is out. He is out at home plate.
All right, everyone follow along. It was an out of the base path call. Let's give Seattle a chance to talk about the rule first.
7.08 A1. Yeah, we're going deep. A runner is out when he essentially runs more than 3 feet away. That's the key, 3 feet away from a direct line between bases to avoid being tagged, unless his action is to avoid interference.
I appreciate every attempt to educate the viewer about the rules. This is a really good attempt, but unfortunately that's not the rule. In 2014, MLB reorganized its rule book, so Seattle is referencing the old book. We need the new book, the now book. 509B1 is the new rule that states that any runner is out when they run more than 3 feet away from their base path to avoid being tagged unless avoiding interference. But even more so, Seattle said this.
The key, 3 feet away from a direct line between bases to avoid being tagged.
So compare that to 509, which states 3 feet away from their base path. The difference here is base line, which is a direct line between bases, to base path, which is established when the tag attempt occurs in is a straight line from the runner to the base they are attempting to reach safely. Let's graphically represent this.
Obviously the throw beat him.
If Davey Martinez was a runner trying to reach home plate, the base line is just the foul line. It's a straight line between third and home. But as a runner, the base path is between Davey and the plate. So it's a little bit to the right in foul territory of the baseline. That's important.
Oh, look at me. I can throw you out.
Davey Martinez just got tossed, and he's getting his money's worth now.
Knowing what we know about the base path, let's try to figure out if the runner goes out of it.
Right away, you can see Derek Thomas with his mask in hand saying, listen, he's outside the baseline.
Remember, it's a base path, not a baseline, but that's okay. It's tough to find a great angle on this, but I think this one's the best. I've frozen it as the catcher receives the throw. This is the earliest point at which we may begin calculating a base path. Remember, the base path is established when the tag attempt occurs, i.e., when it first begins. So the catcher has to have number 1 possession of the ball, and they have to make their first little movement to try to make the tag. This catcher goes in pretty much one motion, so right there we pause it again. That is where we begin calculating our base path. And all you do is draw a line straight from the runner to the base. At this point, we're going to go to the overhead angle. That is our base path. Let's see where the runner goes.
But right away, you can see.
At this point, it's simply about whether the runner is more than 3 feet away from that base path, the blue line, or not. So is that yellow line more than 3 feet or not? It could be here, or here. This is the quote-unquote simple explanation. We'll get to a more complex one if you still want to watch it after we see the rest of the proceedings.
Yeah, can you get tossed by 2 umpires in the same game?
Yeah, you can get your money's worth for both.
I do want to show one more angle, not annotating at all, just so you can see that the runner does indeed veer to his right.
He's trying to, no, you're supposed to run into the catcher's mitt. That's what you're supposed to do.
From this angle, we can't really draw any lines, but we can see that Ruiz is modifying his trajectory toward home plate. So he is veering to the right of his base path. The only question is that more than 3 feet or not?
I mean, he's within 1 dive of reaching home plate there, which he did.
I like this angle. I didn't see this one before. We generally go center of gravity for these, so line between the player and point of plate. It's close, but I think what really hurt Ruiz is his cleat got caught in the dirt, and that caused him to fall farther away from the plate than he intended to be, and that cleat getting caught might have indeed caused him to go more than 3 feet out of his base path.
Derek Thomas.
Fortunately, we have another part of the rulebook that can help us with this. Appendix 2 of the rulebook has a diagram called Layout at Home Base. I hope you're ready for some math. The point of the plate to the runner's position behind the back edge of the right-handed batter's box is what we're after. Since we know the runner's base path, the pink line, is fully above the horizontal line intersecting point of plate represented in green, we know that we are essentially looking for no less than the distance between the point of plate to the back edge of the horizontal edge of the batter's box. Thanks to our prior video on the Marcell Ozuna backswing hitting catcher Will Smith, we know this distance is 2 feet 3 1/2 inches. The question thus is how far exactly behind the batter's box line is Ruiz, and how far on top or above the point of plate intersection is the base path in pink. If that's more than 8.5 inches, you are out of the base path.
Zero hesitation. See David Martinez getting his money's worth. He's not shy. That's awful.
Crew Chief Mark Carlson coming in to help out.
I think more than anything else, this is the definitive look. I do believe that that runner is more than 3 feet away from the point of plate and his base path.
I don't know that I've ever seen a guy called for going out of the baseline at home.
That's because you haven't read your rule book. It's a base path.
Oh, this is awful.